Welcome, everyone.
Welcome to Tusi TV. This is your global news channel. I'm Maya Tusi, and we come to you guys with some breaking news coming from the White House. Multiple shots fired as the authorities, with the help of the Secret Service, have managed to send the press and media who were on the North Lawn back into the building inside the White House. We are also hearing that the local FBI agents have been deployed to help with to widen the investigation. There is a lot of stuff happening. We have the live feed from the White House, a number of videos as well that has been coming in over the last few minutes. I believe they are now telling us that the police have managed to take down a gunman. At least 20 to 30 shots were fired. I'm going to show you, this is the image we have from a few minutes ago, from the top of the White House, with the snipers being, of course, on a standby. I think we can quickly go to the moment that the shooting started. One of the reporters was actually in the middle of her report, and this happened.
That President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
Now, it's important to mention that this attack has happened only hours after it was confirmed by the authorities in the United States that the IRGC were plotting to assassinate President Trump's daughter, Ivanka Trump. And of course, a man has been arrested. There's no evidence that, of course, this is linked to that, but it just shows that the attacks on the Trump family and, of course, the democracy and the White House and everything in America in general, it seems to be on the rise. Again, the police so far are saying we don't know the motive, so we're going to wait and see what they are going to be telling us over the next few minutes. We quickly can go to the next video of just after the shootings. The police and Secret Service securing the area. So this was filmed by one of the journalists who was then taken inside the building. President Trump is, of course, safe and secured. The usual protocol were activated the moment this happened. I think we're getting some more information. Of course, we're going to get your reaction live as well. But we are getting some more information about what exactly happened. We don't know so far who was behind this. Of course, if you're watching this later on or tomorrow, all the information has come out, so you might have to fast forward this. So yes, apparently there is a civilian who has been shot.
Hey, Tammy.
The armed suspect has been taken down after the gunfire erupted. This was on the west side of the White House. And as they say, President Trump is confirmed safe. But apparently, one civilian, a bystander, has been shot. We're getting some more information about how this happened, but there is an image by another reporter.
The shooter's been killed. He has died.
From inside the building.
I have some more clips.
Obviously, taking a photo of the Secret Service covering the outside area.
Second half, I'm going to do a bunch of the funnies
of the White House. Okay, Kash Patel, the director of FBI, has a quick statement. We're going to quickly see what he has to say. Kash Patel says the FBI is on the scene and supporting Secret Service responding to shots fired near White House grounds. We will update the public as we are able. So, of course, we have to wait a bit longer for the FBI to continue their investigation. Some of the information that we have is that the attacker approached the White House near Gate 17 around 6 p.m. local time. And of course, if we quickly go to our time zones, of course, that was just over an hour ago in Washington, D.C. So approached Gate 17 of the White House, fired 3 shots towards the building and also Secret Service agents. And then the agents returned fire. They took him down, but a civilian who's been shot. Now, we're trying to figure out if the civilian was hit accidentally by Secret Service agents or whether the gunman... Okay, now they're saying 2 people. 2 people have been shot. 2... I'm assuming the other one is also a civilian. Oh, wait, hang on. No, they're including the suspect as one of them. So they are saying that the attacker is now in critical condition, has been taken to the hospital. The second person, the civilian, the bystander who was there and got shot, is in serious condition. So we don't know if the attacker is going to survive this, but we will wait for more information on that. Also, we're expecting an additional live feed from DC to begin shortly. Of course, our team will let me know. So this was the investigation is now starting around the 7th.
Yeah, Gregory, sometimes you're better off watching social media to find out real information.
17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue, so the western part of the White House. No agent has been injured. So that's one of the key informations. Trying to figure out who shot the civilian.
He came live right after this happened yesterday, so his information isn't quite as up to date.
He was trying to breach the White House premise, but he didn't do it. He obviously didn't. He was stopped immediately. So
no one person could get in there.
Based on the report that we have so far,
either. It would take like 10.
And also we saw the video. We have another video actually for you guys. The moment of the attack. Another reporter was in the middle of a broadcast, and things kicked off. So based on this, when they say obviously 20 or 30, we can hear in the video I'm about to show you, there's a lot of shots being fired. Most of them clearly were from the Secret Service. 3 of them were from the attacker, which means, by the way, based on this, the attacker is not going to survive this. It's highly unlikely he's alive right now. So let's quickly go to the second video, the moment of
he died.
Attack.
Memorial Day
saves us a lot of trials.
President Trump promises the prices will go down, but his grip on Republican support on Capitol Hill is weakening.
I would have been out of there quicker than that.
There we go. Okay, so that's when they clear the area. I think more of them are going to go in now. There is another video coming in just now. Yeah, they got the agents that...
Yeah, some of the later videos are going to talk about this guy. He was a nutcake. He's tried several times before they knew of him. I don't know why. I don't know why they even didn't have him in a mental hospital.
It seems like it was just one shooter
with a pistol. Good luck with that.
No information about the identity of the suspect yet, but I'm assuming the FBI will be taking charge now. So in the live chat, Keith says, "Gotta hand it to you. You broke the news before
For some reason, it won't send it to my locals and my Twitch. They're not working with this, and I tried to fix it last night, and I could not get it working. I got the YouTube to come back, but not the other two.
Or Fox News. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's quickly I think we're getting some more intel about the condition of the suspect, at least. We don't know much about the bystander, but I think some more intel is coming in very shortly. We're just trying to verify. There's a lot of stuff happening at the same time anyway, in terms of information coming out, and most of it is obviously coming from the journalists who are inside the building, but they don't know much because they are currently hiding, and they're also basically getting the news just like you guys from either watching this or social media or some other channel. So those who are actually stuck inside the White House, they don't know what's going on, but those who are outside and have access to the outside world, they can. So there are some journalists outside, but not on the lawn, obviously. So let's quickly go back. I think there's another video that's just been released from the situation outside the White House. You can hear it. Right. Okay. So that is that. Let me just quickly go back to our live feed from the area, and I'm just waiting for some verification on a. Yeah, we'll have to wait apparently. Okay. The scene has been contained, and the FBI will be taking charge. Yeah, I mean they're not gonna depend on, they're not going to rely on the Secret Service to. The Secret Service agents have already done their job in terms of the immediate response, but in terms of the wider investigation, you're going to have the FBI to be on top of it. While we wait for some of that to come back to us, I'm going to get some reaction in the live chat. Anticipating another great show. I won't be able to watch, but I expect it will be very entertaining. This is not a troll. Well, there is a bit of an emergency right now. So one civilian has been shot. Again, I'm assuming, again, we can't confirm, but I'm assuming that was accidental shot by the agents because the attacker was just outside the gate. So the agents were shooting at him. If there was somebody just standing nearby, it would have been a problem. I can't believe what's coming up out of the ooze. When tragedy comes, the left are always there. I know the area well. I often stay at Hampton Inn, just down the road. Shocking, says PC. Betty was fit back in the day. Okay. Now, just going to get some quick update. I think the FBI will be holding a press conference. I'm trying to see what time. Okay, we are getting the additional live feed from near the White House, just outside, very, very shortly, imminently. So stay with us, and I think that should begin. Yeah, let's just double check something quickly. God.
Again, he was reporting this just after it happened.
We'll wait for this one because. Okay. Okay, that should be with us very soon. But in the meantime, let me just see what's going on with you guys. Go back to the White House. As President Trump set the record on assassination attempts, thank God they failed again. So that the problem with the US is that it's very difficult to speculate because it could be anyone and about anything. if it was in the UK at, I don't know, somewhere in Westminster, you would assume 99% is going to be an Islamist. It's kind of straightforward in Europe. In America, it could be anything. It could be someone who's confused about their gender. It could be someone on the left. It could be someone who's completely insane. It could be IRGC. It could be anyone. But this is why it's good, at least on a federal level these days, with the Trump administration, we have more transparency. Every time something like this happens, on the federal level, they tell you as much as they can immediately. Sometimes, depending on the state, we've had a lot of situations in Minnesota, for example, where the local side become a little bit vague, and they tend not to give you the actual information that you need at the right time, and there's a vacuum that's created. And most of the time, the federal side, especially FBI, under the current leadership, try to fill the vacuum before it gets worse. Someone says, bad guys leave the ineffective and inactive Joe Biden presidents alone. Oh, inactive presidents like Joe Biden alone. You can tell the presidents who don't play because bad guys are after them. Yet another example of the benefits of re-establishment of institutionalization of the mentally ill, says Dagenham Dave. Thoughts on Iran-US deal? Thanks. I will get to that shortly as well. It's interesting because the White House and the Islamic Republic have been saying for the past few hours that they basically got the deal ready. But usually at this point, you've already had President Trump announcing it. He would declare it, say, we've done the deal. But he keeps saying we are close. We're basically there, but he hasn't actually announced it. He's been saying, I've been talking to the Arabs and the Israelis. And then this happened. So I'm not really sure how this is going to affect us, because obviously President Trump is now...
Turns out Pakistan put some crap out that wasn't true, and there is no deal. What Pakistan had was what the other Arab states had agreed with them, what the deal should be, and Iran didn't take it, and the United States didn't take it. It was bullcrap. It was us giving them a whole bunch of money, and then down the road they might do something about, negotiate the nuclear crap.
Has been taken to a secure area. There we go. I think we have the... No, not yet. Okay. That doesn't help. So we had the feed now. Obviously, still live, ongoing development, so things could change. The information could change imminently, and wow. Okay, they're still saying the civilian is in serious condition, not critical, so he could survive. And the suspect was a man. It was male. He had a pistol, so he used the pistol. They're saying. That's why he only managed to shoot.
The media dropped this quick because it doesn't go for their narrative, the race narrative.
It was 3 shots. So I think it was also not necessarily just because it was a pistol, but also the Secret Service agents were right there by the gate. So they started shooting at him, took him down immediately. I think he's dead. I don't know how he's going to survive this, because, again, we heard the shots, the number of shots fired at him. Unless somehow Secret Service missed most of them, they probably won't. He's not going to be able to survive that, even if 5 of them basically gets to him. Now this was recorded last night, right after it happened. Someone says suicide by cop. That's also, again, we've seen a lot of these things before.
Well, there you are.
Although I wouldn't. Why would you do that at the White House? You could do it anywhere. Unless you're a narcissist and you're doing it for different reasons, you would. The suicide.
This happened last night while I was live, so I didn't see it until well after the fact. Probably a good 45 minutes after I was done live, or a half hour.
By cop concept. You could have just done it in your local area, somewhere else, quietly, basically.
I had a lot of messages.
Get the police to shoot you, put you out of your misery, whatever, if you're suicidal. You wouldn't really do that at the White House gate, unless you also really hated the White House at the same time as life.
This is a suicide
Yeah,
thing.
that's a good point
Guy
as well.
was mental,
the
though.
White House windows are
He knew
bulletproof.
it.
What did he think he was doing? Yeah, I don't think this was any a stable genius villain. I don't think there was a well thought through plan here, because walking around with one pistol, shooting at the gate, well, through the gate, trying to storm the gate, but not going to be able to, because you can see the agents right the other side. This clearly was not a professional. This wasn't really some sort of a assassin, unless this is like some sort of distraction for something else. But Joanne says, are these people stupid trying to shoot the president of the White House? And that's the thing. If he actually, for some stupid reason,
They all have mental issues.
thought that he could somehow reach the president or somebody important in the White House all the way from the gate, then yeah, in a rare situation, I can declare him actually
Yeah,
mentally
it's just another whack job.
It makes no sense why you would even consider doing that. I think I'm just trying to make sure we get the update on when the FBI. I think it's going to take some time for the FBI to actually arrange the news conference.
Thing is, they've had trouble with them constantly trying to do stuff trying to get into the White House in the past, and they haven't done anything about it. Like 6 times, 7 times.
Also, they've just cancelled the live feed that was supposed to be added to this from outside the area. Okay, get some. All right, while we wait for that.
The fast forward. Where's the fast forward on here? I don't know how much it goes.
Suicide by the White House.
That's exactly
I hope
what it was.
the bystander is actually
Saved
at
us
least
money convicting him.
surviving this, because obviously that's not fair. I mean, I'm not really sure how, unless this was very, very quick. Obviously, it was quick because he only managed to do 3 shots before all the bullets came towards him. That means if anybody's around him, would have been hit. I think we are getting the intel that the White House lockdown has just been lifted.
Any word on the bystander? I'm going to move on to the next one I have. Everyone's seen this other one here, this little short clip here. Let's see if I can bring that
President
up.
Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
No. Everyone's seen this one. I don't know if it would have taken me that long to get down. So I want to try to stop it right when her face recognizes it. What's going on? Right there. I don't blame her, to be honest. I don't blame her. Here we go. I'll bring up another one of these. Let's see if we can get it to play. What's going on here? Oh, let me try it again. I got to do this, I guess.
We continue to follow that breaking news out of the district. Secret Service sources now tell Fox News that male suspect accused of firing shots towards the White House has died. Law enforcement also reporting now that a bystander was shot and is in critical condition at this hour. Details are still emerging. That scene is very much still active. I want to bring in now retired FBI agent Richard Kolko. Rich, thank you so much for joining us again tonight. It was not even a month ago that we had you on
Not so much.
for the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting. I'm curious, looking now again at a shooting
Under
very
watch
close to
by
the
the
president,
FBI.
as we know he was
Not
inside
so
the
good.
White House at this time. What is jumping off the page to you?
Like you said, Sydney, way too often this kind of stuff is happening. What's jumping off the page for me here is who, what, where, when, and why. This is not a serious attempt on the president. Anybody who walks up towards Secret Service and pulls out a handgun and starts shooting knows they're not making an actual real attempt at assassinating the president of the United States. They're there to make some sort of statement. The statement cost him his life. Hopefully it did not cost innocent bystander their life too. As you said, it appears that other person is in critical condition. But yeah, big busy crime scene right now. They got to figure out who this is, anybody else associated with him. Simple little things like, did he arrive in a car? Is there any possibility of an explosive device in the car? A whole bunch of investigation
I haven't been seeing anyone posting too much about the guy's social media or anything.
needs to be done and just beginning now.
To that point, Rich, one thing that stuck out to me is it seemed that they were able to lift that lockdown relatively quickly. How
shooter.
are these law enforcement agencies able to make that
Really, the guy had no chance at all. He committed suicide, basically.
determination? Because to your point, I know, as you said at the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting, you've got to make sure that there's not a second suspect, that there's not, to your point just now, an explosive device. Are you surprised at how quickly they were able to lift that lockdown?
It is. I am a little surprised, but they had the intelligence and they're on scene to have a better idea and handle on why they want to do that so quickly. Certainly, they called in the reserve troops. More Secret Service would have shown up. FBI, Metro PD, other law enforcement agencies would be there. So the facility is, as you know, very secure at any given time of day or night. Now it's triple secured in case there is any other incident, any copycats, anybody else wants to raise havoc on a Saturday night. So I'm completely confident that the Secret Service knows exactly what they're doing as far
as. Sure, there's a lot of TDS out there, but the media pushes
protecting the facility and, of course, protecting the president.
What are the next steps for law enforcement officers and investigators working this case right now? It has only been 2.5 hours, if that, since these reports of shots were first reported. What are they doing right now?
Well, I've heard they've identified the person. They haven't released the name publicly, but that's helpful. The simple stuff that we always hear about, they're going to figure out where he lives, write search warrants, get to his digital equipment, a phone, iPad, computer, see if he planned this out, did any research, any co-conspirators, anybody that he told that he was thinking of doing this.
I doubt there's any co-conspirators. From what I'm hearing, he was pretty nuts.
They're going to put together that whole investigation to find out how this occurred. But, Secret Service, they're great at protecting that facility. Even though when you look back historically, there have been attacks on the White House, everything from people flying airplanes into it to 30 years ago, somebody, when Obama was president, not 30 years ago, when Obama was president, pulled out a rifle on Pennsylvania Avenue and took pot shots at some of the windows. They closed Pennsylvania Avenue after 9/11. You used to be able to drive on that street, but they built that perimeter. They've increased the fence size and security. They've got the people in place to protect that facility, and they're very good at it.
Rich, that is such a high-trafficked area, as you know, with so many tourists and also locals who work in that area and live in that area. We now have the report of this shooting. We had that report of that other shooting, I believe, May 4th near the Washington Monument, which, of course, is right across from the White House. And a couple of months ago, also not far from the White House, when those 2 National Guard members were shot. I know you talked about there's so much security in that area in the district. But for folks who are walking around there in the coming days, I mean, I imagine this is on their minds. Is there any, recognizing you're not Secret Service, any assurances that you can give folks about the level of security there as we continue to see so many incidents where we know so many people go?
Well, security's already ramped up. But things like this, unfortunately, can happen and did happen. We see those Secret Service officers in their cars, in their marked cars. They have perimeters. There are all other kinds of things that they are doing to help protect. When you think about the White House, the actual White House, that facility is secured from that fence inward. But the Secret Service has multiple perimeters farther out from the White House to see if any suspicious events, people, vehicles that are nearby, checking metro stations, all kinds of things that they do. They don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it, but they have all the people, place, and technology in place to provide as much security as they can. This person didn't breach the perimeter, didn't get past Secret Service, didn't get close to the White House. The really bad news is an innocent bystander was hurt, maybe critically. But other than that, system worked.
And I know so many folks are certainly praying for that bystander tonight. Rich Kolko, retired FBI agent, thank you again for joining us on another Saturday night. We always appreciate your insight.
Of course. Thanks.
We want to get back now to Regina Ureta. She has been on scene since news of this shooting first broke. Of course, we have learned a lot of new information in the last several minutes. Fox News reporting from sources that accused shooter has died. Regina, you are still on scene right now. What can you tell us?
Yeah, well, Sydney, we're learning those new details, and we'll get to that in just a second. I just want to describe to you the scene here because it's been like this for the past.
It's starting to get like too normal for this to happen constantly.
2 hours. We got here just a little bit after 6:30, and this large police presence has stayed constant. We've continued to see a perimeter line secured by Secret Service, DC Police, as well as the FBI. And this is just off of Pennsylvania Avenue. 18th Street and 17th Street are similar. We can't go past this, but we have been seeing fire trucks, the ambulance just passing through here, as well as other law enforcement vehicles in this area. And law enforcement has also been sort of deterring traffic into other directions, letting people know that this area is blocked off because of an ongoing investigation. But Sydney, as you mentioned, we are learning those new details about a shooting near the White House. The Secret Service says just after 6 p.m. Saturday, an individual approached a checkpoint near 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue, then pulled a weapon from a bag and opened fire on officers. Secret Service personnel returned fire, striking the suspect, who was taken to a hospital and later died. Officials also say a bystander was hit by gunfire during the incident, but it's still unclear whether that person...
Any word on the bystander? Anyone heard anything about him?
Was struck by the suspect or during the exchange of gunfire. We're still trying to know the status of that bystander. No Secret Service, we're told, was hurt during that time, but we also know that the president was inside the White House, but was not impacted in this incident. This continues to remain under investigation. One thing that I should mention, we're just a few blocks from the White House. This is an area that continues, and even beforehand, continues to see residents as well as tourists, people who wanted to visit the White House. We spoke to some tourists who also were trying to get to this point, but then they were met with this image of a large police presence. So again, a pretty scary situation, not only for the people who heard those gunshots, for the people involved, and also the journalists who were inside the perimeter, just very close to the White House. They were getting ready to go live on TV when they also heard those gunshots. Authorities then told them to immediately look for shelter as the White House went into lockdown. That lockdown has been lifted since then, and at this time we are trying to get more details and more confirmation, but law enforcement present continues to be constant here in this area. Sydney?
Regina Ureta reporting for us tonight. Thank you so much for your coverage. We will see you again later.
Yep. Any news on that bystander? Anyone heard anything on them? Here's another one from Fox. Not Fox News, but Fox News.
Right now on Fox 5 News at 10, breaking news right outside of the White House. The Secret Service says a suspect is dead after approaching a White House checkpoint with a weapon. Law enforcement also reporting that a bystander was shot and is in critical condition. The president was inside the White House at the time, but remains safe and unharmed. And new at this hour, Fox News Digital is now just reporting a suspect identity. Let's get right out live to Regina Ureta near the scene now with everything we know tonight. Regina, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, Sydney, we're learning new details about the shooting that happened very close to the White House, as well as the shooter involved in this incident. Now, the scene remains active, just how you're looking at it right now. We have the Secret Service who's here on standby, as well as MPD, and several patrol cars here on Pennsylvania Avenue between 18th Street and 17th Street. This is as far as we can go. You see that perimeter line securing this area. And as mentioned, just a
I've definitely been there. I don't remember it very well, but I've walked a lot of those streets when, along with other patriots when they go to events and stuff.
Large police presence, but let's get to some video here of
we have to go from like one event to the other.
When we got here, we know a little bit more of what unfolded. The Secret Service says just after 6 p.m. on Saturday, a man approached a security checkpoint near 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue, pulled a gun from a bag and opened fire on officers. Secret Service returned fire.
If he has mental issues, what's he doing with a gun?
He was then taken to the hospital where he later died. Officials say a bystander was also hit by gunfire, but investigators are still trying to determine whether that person was shot by the suspect or caught in the crossfire. No Secret Service officers were hurt. The president, we can confirm, was inside the White House at the time, but was not impacted. Now, multiple sources tell Fox News Digital the suspect was 21-year-old Nazir Best of Maryland. Sources say he he allegedly had prior encounters with the Secret Service and a history of mental health issues. And Sydney, I do want to mention journalists were also working in the area at the time. They heard the gunshots and were told to take cover. Again, this happened during Memorial Day weekend in an area packed with tourists, residents, and visitors walking through downtown D.C. We actually spoke with people who were near the area.
Scary. I didn't understand what happened, and then I understand that it was shooting and they closed the White House. It's very scary.
Tons of cars, of police cars just running, and also
Thanks,
a
John.
couple of
I was wondering if there was any update. So
ambulance, just every.
I bet you he's going to have, disability for the rest of his life or something if he lives,
We're like going from there, and then we start walking back to our hotel, and we saw like they closed all the streets.
And this is still an active investigation. Again, the scene remains active with that large police presence. As soon as we know any other details regarding this incident, we'll be sure to share it with you. But that is the latest coming from on scene. Back to you.
Regina Ureta reporting tonight. Thank you. Security remains tight inside and outside of the White House. The checkpoints are heavily guarded. So to give us some perspective on this situation, I want to bring in former FBI agent Richard Kolko. Rich, thank you so much for joining us again. You and I spoke, I believe, in the 8 o'clock hour, and you said to me that to you, this did not look like someone seriously trying to assassinate the president. Why is that?
True that.
Well, a person comes up maybe at a metro or just down the street down 17th there. He was carrying a messenger bag, kind of a over-the-shoulder bag, I believe, reaches in there and pulls out a handgun. That's no way to breach the White House. You know you're not going to get to the president. So he may have been a grievance collector, as we call it, or just wanted to send some sort of message to the White House or to the administration, and cost him his life. And unfortunately, somebody else is seriously wounded as well.
Rich, Fox News Digital, as Regina just told our viewers, is reporting that this suspect had prior encounters with U.S. Secret Service on at least 2 occasions in 2025 and a history of mental health issues. What does that say to you?
It says that the FBI, Secret Service, and I believe ATF and Metro PD all were aware of him. Yes, I learned a little bit as well. One time for trying to go through one of the White House gates, and one time for blocking a vehicle entry at the White House. So those are his 2 encounters, both of them in 2025. 21 years old. It appears that earlier reporting was that he had fired 3 rounds. Reporting I'm hearing now from law enforcement is it was significantly more. Still haven't identified the weapon he was carrying, but it was more than the 3 rounds.
In your experience, when you have an investigation like this that involves so many agencies, who here takes the lead? How does that work?
Well, attempted assassinations and such are investigated by the FBI. The intelligence portion will be handled by the Secret Service, and Metro PD, because this happened in Washington, D.C., will play a major role in both ends of the investigation. So it'll be a task force or group effort to get to the bottom of this.
Rich, we always appreciate having you on here on Fox 5 on a Saturday night, though unfortunately this is the second time we meet now in less than a month. Of course, you and I talked at the time of the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Such significant and violent events so close together. I know you worked in law enforcement.
I think it's a bet,
I just wonder what that signals to you about where we're at right now.
Well, don't forget multiple assassination attempts on President Trump as well, both as a candidate and as president. So this nonstop political violence, you will hear from both sides of the aisle that this has to stop, and that is correct. People taking these actions is just unfathomable. And
100% agree, John. Open up the mental hospitals again.
And unsustainable for our country. It has to be put to a halt. I think that people are just reacting so quickly. I believe that a lot of it comes down to, well, in this case, it may be mental illness. We'll learn more in the coming days and weeks. But also a lot of this has to do with social media. We saw last week there was the attack on a mosque in San Diego. And those 2...
They're giving us a lot of drugs these days, too, Marianne. That's part of the issue.
Very young men were radicalized, likely via social media. So what's happening is a lot of people are going on to these chat rooms, video game players, communicating with others, finding people like-minded, validating their thoughts.
Yeah, it's one thing to be mental. Another one is to be violent and mental too. That's another issue, you know.
Updating their plans and then taking action. A really, really dangerous environment that we're not just heading into, but we're actually into right now.
No doubt about that. Retired FBI.
Oh, EM. Hi,
Thank you so much for your perspective again tonight. And as we mentioned, this, of course, comes nearly a month after that shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You might remember a California man, Cole Thomas Allen, was accused of trying to assassinate President Trump. He remains in federal custody tonight and has pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. And following that scare, Secret Service officers shot a suspect they said had fired at officers near the Washington Monument, also near the White House. A Texas man was charged in connection with that May 4th shooting, and a teenage bystander was wounded there.
So we can't.
All right, we're going to switch gears now for you and take a look at your forecast. Miss Jen Delgado is here now.
I'm not going to do the forecast.
I think we're having a
I'm going to move on to something else. Let me close that. Sorry, that was the full report, and I grabbed that from that time. Let me close that. I got a couple others here, little short things about it. Here we go.
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter of the White House complex identified a suspicious individual that appeared to have a firearm. They called in support from our marked uniformed Secret Service police to make contact with that individual. Upon making contact, that individual fled briefly on foot, withdrew a firearm, and fired in the direction of our agents and officers. They returned fire and engaged. That individual was hit. He's since been transported to the hospital. I have no comments on his condition. I can tell you that at least one, we believe only one bystander was hit by the suspect. That individual, it's a juvenile, did not sustain any life-threatening injuries, but he's also receiving treatment at the hospital.
That's the basic briefing of it. Let's get someone else's take. Well, I'll do this we'll do the take, I guess.
Gunman down, gunman down, gunman down. Breaking news just coming in. Someone tries to take the life of the president again. Breaking news just coming in. Someone tries to take the life of the president again. When are we going to put this to a fucking end? Everything we talk about, they try to hurt. We pray for peace. We try to do things peaceful. You guys tried to take people's lives. And now there's someone that got hurt over there again in Washington. Every single time I turn this shit on. You guys say that you're the party of peace. That is anything but the fucking truth. You ain't the party of peace. You guys are the party of trying to hurt and maim and disrespect and do everything you can to divide this whole fucking country. I am so tired of this bullshit.
You think it's cell phones?
Every time I turn on the news,
maybe the cell
breaking
towers.
news just coming in. Donald Trump again on the siege. White House, Washington, president attacked again. I have to tell you, this is disgusting. This is an atrocity. And every single one that continues to try to divide this nation should be held accountable as if they did the crime themselves.
Maybe the cell towers there, John. Maybe that's something to do with it. I don't know.
Hey, Sydney, I'm going to remain off camera here because, as you can see, there are the fire department here, fire trucks that are moving, as well as other law enforcement vehicles, so I don't want to be in the way. But I'm just going to describe the scene to you right now. We are seeing a lot of law enforcement here on Pennsylvania Avenue, streets between 16th, 18th, and 17th Street, all blocked off. We have Secret Service surrounding a perimeter line here. We can't get past this point, but as we've been reporting, D.C. police are responding to gunshots that were heard outside the White House today. The White House has been placed on lockdown according to multiple reports. Those reports of gunshots started just around 6 p.m. So we also just are trying to get more information, but we just know that multiple gunshots were heard outside of the White House. People here standing by, they have been coming to us asking what happened. And so we're trying to get more information, but we do know that the Secret Service, as well as the FBI, they are coordinating with DC police here as they continue to get more information out to the public of what happened. But if you're just joining in, we do know that police are responding to these gunshots. They responded to the gunshots near the White House. It has been placed on lockdown. We do know that also correspondents as well as the press pool, they were inside the White House and they were placed on lockdown.
Hey,
we're
Cindy, I'm
trying
going to
to
remain off
get
camera here
more
because, as you can see, there
more
are
confirmation as soon as
the
we
fire
do.
department here,
We'll be sure
fire
to share
trucks
it
that are
with you.
moving
But
as
for now,
well as other
Cindy,
law
I'm going to send it back
enforcement
to you.
vehicles, so I don't want to be in the way. But
A lot of times it was near the White House. A lot of people are doing their own lives there, you know, recording and stuff.
I'm just going to
I'll send it
describe the
back
scene to you
after
right
this.
now. We
Right,
are
we
seeing
haven't
a lot
seen
of
that
law
much of
enforcement
that.
here on Pennsylvania Avenue, streets between 16th, 18th, and
So when I was there,
17th
was always
Street, all
someone with their
blocked
phone
off. We
up
have
doing
Secret
something near
Service
the
surrounding a perimeter
entrances
line
near the
here.
White House.
We can't
You know,
get
maybe
past
if it wasn't
this
close, it would be
point,
within
but
a distance
as we've
of
been
it, you know,
reporting, DC more information, but we coordinating with DC police to these gunshots
Not
to
much there
again
to
get
that.
more information and more
Okay,
confirmation.
here's
As soon
one
as
of
we
the
do, we'll be sure
media
to share it
people.
with
They
you.
didn't
But
really
for now, Sydney,
act
I'm going to send
that
it back to
scared
you.
at first. Watch this.
what is that? What is that?
Sounds like fire.
Today, but this obviously comes.
I'm surprised she didn't get down. I would have been getting down. All right, here's something else in the news I wanted to show everyone, or what's going on. Pakistan has opened up their borders to Afghanistan to let tens and hundreds of thousands of these Durkas in. I don't know if they're going to send them over to Iran to be human shields or what, or to keep them in line to be Islam in case the people try to overthrow them. I don't know. Take a peek at this. These are all people from Afghanistan going into Pakistan. See the flag there for the Pakistan flag? What the hell they're doing that for? I don't know. They just opened up their border. I mean, they can speculate, but the Afghanistan is very, very tribal. Any thoughts on that one? Speculation on why they would just suddenly open up their border? I don't know where they're going to get money to eat and all that kind of stuff. All right, here's a little humor on the thing. In fact, I'm going to do this part just for laughs, but we'll start with CNN and what happened last night.
We are breaking this news. The White House is on lockdown following an active shooter incident.
Authorities have identified the suspect as a white male in his 30s.
He has a history of mental illness and has been arrested in the past.
This is MAGA country! This is MAGA country!
The suspect is in custody and the president is safe. The president has been rushed to the hospital. The attack happened as the president was leaving a rally in Washington, D.C. The suspect has been identified as 28-year-old James Hodginson.
We are dumb as shit, and we have no clue what's happening. Good night.
All right. All these are just for fun, for laughs.
That's cause the problems and I'm here to fight. You see the Democrats, they never make it right. We're all in danger if we let them steal. The Palisades burn down, but Angelinos won't kneel. That is the word.
Come on, Los Angeles! You gotta fight fire with fire!
Them steal your money and say Trump's a king. When will they understand?
Yeah, they had no chance.
The frauds are crying shame. Their lips are lying, the corruption is real. I'll stop the lies right now, make them pay back what they steal. Pratt is the word.
Pratt is the word, and your voice will be heard.
I bring truth and they're screaming.
Block.
Pratt is his time in LA, he's exposing.
And Pratt is Los Angeles healing.
Meth addicts deserve taxpayer fees!
The homeless pooping and the crime's insane. The whole community, they say it's inhumane. Needles poking where the children play. A vote for Spencer Pratt confirms LA will be safe. Pratt is the word.
Pratt is the word, and your voice will be heard.
Blocking cameras, oh, okay.
Pratt, it's his time in LA, he's exposing.
And Pratt is Los Angeles healing. The leftist lies and collusion, targeting fear, lots of illusion. The solution is clear. I call out liars and I throw them away. The left's hypocrisy and build a brand new LA. I'll stop the fires before they make it too far. The left is screaming now, cause I confirmed who they are. Pratt is the word.
Pratt is the word, and your voice will be heard.
I bring truth and they're screaming.
Pratt, it's his time in LA, he's exposing.
And Pratt is Los Angeles healing.
A lot of these are Plaid ads. They're funny. A lot of them are made also from the DFF.
Mark, Brookfield's up another 4%. That's it. I'm booking more sustainable Botox. Another 100 million, and I might finally look like Melania instead of Klaus Schwab in a wig.
Darling, at your current maintenance costs,
I know he's
you'll need
moving up
$500
in the
billion
polls
before Davos stops seating you with the male delegates.
Worth it. Besides, you turn net zero into the greatest luxury brand scam since bottled water.
Al Gore sold PowerPoints. We sell entire economies.
Speaking of economies, how's Canada doing?
Beautifully. Productivity collapsing, investment fleeing, housing unaffordable, young people hopeless. Honestly, the transition is ahead of schedule.
And the voters?
Still obedient. Canadians will tolerate
Lauren's
almost
gotta win
any
too.
suffering if you
Looks
call
like
it
she's gonna win
equity
this
and
primary.
climate leadership.
Especially
for those in Texas. When is your primaries? Is it this Tuesday? Is your finals on the? I know your early voting already started. When's the final day on that? Is it Tuesday? For those in Texas?
In Liberal and NDP provinces.
I'd
Emotionally blackmail them with one poll.
I'd like to see Cornyn go out. Although they don't lose their job right then, that doesn't happen till later. But
LeBaire, and they'll applaud while their heating bill doubles.
Meanwhile, our real money stays safely parked in U.S. assets, Houston Energy, and overseas infrastructure.
Naturally, we believe in Canadian sacrifice, not Canadian investing.
China really figured it out, though.
Oh, absolutely. They build coal plants every week while we ban plastic straws and pretend we're saving civilization.
That's the beauty of Western politics. Make people poorer, then tell them it's virtue.
And the windmills?
Mostly decorative, but the subsidies are fantastic.
What if Canadians finally realize they're getting poorer?
By then, they'll own nothing, rent everything, and blame each other on X.
And us?
We'll be in Provence explaining to billionaires how inclusive sustainability saved democracy.
God, Canadians are easy.
Polite people always are.
Polite people always are. All right, I think I played part of this, a shorter version of this, but I got the full version here. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be liberals.
How did we get here? How much this country hates women? So awesome.
I'm not going to class today because I know who I am. Trust me, I know who I am.
It's Tuesday, okay.
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm hoping for Warren, too. I think Cornyn's done looking at the polls. It looks like he's down by about 15.
They're just kind of slow. They'd rather just silence your voice and prove what they know. Star-studded bull rings.
Just need to get out there.
Hair dye. Each TikTok is filled with new rage. If you don't listen to them, they don't reproduce. They probably just fade away. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberals. Don't let them get degrees in communist stuff. Let them get real jobs and do work that's tough. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberals. They'll never think straight, they'll always confused, even when you prove them wrong. Liberals are snowflakes and they need a safe place pockets to hide in. They're like little cute slogans of illegals working dimes. When their policy don't match democracy, that's when you ban the guys. They'll set out and cheat or give you a beat or find someone.
Kentucky,
who will
got
take you out.
You're right, EM.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberal. Don't let them get degrees in communist stuff. Let them get real jobs and do the work that's tough. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberal. They'll never think straight, always good, even when you think wrong. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be liberal. Don't let them get degrees in communist stuff. Let them get real jobs and do work that's tough.
Good tune. Good tune. Good tune.
Hey, hiring sign. You're fired.
It's a good one. Put them all together.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm running it.
So you want to work here at McDonald's?
Don't get it twisted, Kamala. I don't want the job. The job wants me. Ronald called me himself, begging, very emotional, almost crying. Clowns don't cry often, by the way. Very stoic people. Pagliacci, great opera, sad clown, tremendous voice. But Ronald, tears. He said, Mr. Trump, I need you in one of my franchises.
What are your qualifications?
Same as yours for president. 0. But I love McDonald's. The Golden Arches, they call it. Very few people know that. Big Mac, beautiful sandwich. Apple pies, a little too hot sometimes. We'll look into that. Filet-O-Fish, very underrated. Remember Filet-O-Fish Fridays? We're bringing that
wonder
back.
if it's real fish.
Make Fridays Filet-O-Fish again.
Okay, well, one thing you need to know is you don't just fall out of a coconut tree into this job.
Insert
when
the
you
word here.
work at McDonald's, you exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you, which is hunger. But what can be unburdened by what has been is being full.
Kamala, wrap it up. I need an Egg McMuffin before I evolve into a different species listening to you. Egg McMuffin's breakfast of champions. Muhammad Ali told me that once. We had breakfast at a rest stop in Newark. He said, champ. He called me champ. These McMuffins are almost as good as your Trump steaks. I said, almost, Ali, almost.
Okay, you're hired, but I'm the manager. I'm in charge. You report to me.
Wait. Why are you working at McDonald's? You were vice president. You ran for president. You had $1 billion campaign. What happened?
Well, I lost.
Very McBadly, I may add.
And then
She's running again.
Speaking fees dried up. Spotify canceled.
Camel Toe's running again.
My podcast before I even had one. I tried doing cameos. People charged me for having to watch them. Requested refunds. Donald. Doug's been locked in the basement working on his music.
What kind of music?
Jazz fusion.
Jazz fusion? That's the worst. Kenny G tried that. Great guy. Tremendous hair. I taught him how to putt downhill. Very soothing, but even he gave up. Doug's down there with a bongo and a dream.
When do you want to start?
Right now. Put me on drive-through where the people are. Kamala, man of the people. I need to connect. Take their orders. Upsell their beverages. Ask them what sauce they want. This is the front lines of fast food. This is where America happens, where dreams come true, one McCrispy strip at a time. Duty calls. P.S.
Colin.
You're fired.
What? I just hired you.
The drive-through guy has firing power. People don't know that. Very important power. McDonald's 101. You read the manual if you can read, and it's right there. Very clear. Very legal.
Says who?
Ray Kroc, the founder, played by the great Michael Keaton in that movie. Fantastic performance. Old friend of mine. I convinced him to do Beetlejuice, responsible for his whole career, if you think about it. Anyway, Ray Kroc said drive-through employees can fire managers. It's in the charter. Look it up.
That's not.
You're fired, Kamala. Also, I'm promoting myself to manager, effective immediately. The people are waiting. Welcome to McDonald's. This is President and new manager, Donald J. Trump. Will you be using the mobile app today?
Come on, man. Is this a joke? Hello. Does this robot sense humans?
He's wearing Burger
or
King.
Hair plugs?
It senses.
Isn't he wearing Burger King there? Let me rewind that just a little. Let me go back just a little. Watch, I think he's wearing Burger King on his shirt.
Hello.
What is it?
Does this robot
That's not Burger
sense
King,
humans
that's something King.
or heat or hair plugs?
It senses intelligence, Joe. You're invisible.
Jill, he says I'm invisible. Am I invisible?
Jill's not in the car, Joe.
Dr. Jill?
Right? Doctor. We must call her doctor. She has a PhD in education. What's she going to do?
She's eating dead
Perform
people, huh?
open heart
I hope
surgery
not.
on a history textbook?
Can I get, here's the deal. Right. Can I get a Licky Tower?
I'm not even sure what he's ordering.
I sure hope
I don't
not.
think he knows what he's ordering either, quite frankly.
That. I want that.
Oh, ice cream? You want ice cream, Joe? I have bad news, terrible news. The worst news. I hate being the bearer of bad news. But someone has to tell you, the ice cream machine is broken, unfortunately.
What? I can see you eating ice cream right now.
This is from Burger King, Joe. I had to go to the competition. Very embarrassing. Machine's been broken for years. You ruined it. You, Obama, and Hunter, who probably sold the parts to Ukraine for $10 million. The big guy gets 10% of the sprinkles. That's you, Sleepy Joe. Except there are no sprinkles because the machine's broken. So you get 10% of nothing. Story of your presidency.
Come on, man. That's not fair.
We used to make the best ice cream machines. Then you threw it all away, like how Kamala threw away $1 billion on Beyonce, who didn't sing, which I preferred, by the way. Look, Joe, you're holding up the line.
Mickey D's hamburgers
Mayor
are,
McCheese is behind you.
I hope not.
Handing out free
'Cause I've had
smiles.
some.
Very generous burger. Pull around, go home, take your nap.
But I just wanted...
Give Corn Pop my best. Here are some free crayons for Hunter's next masterpiece.
Yes, I'm Clint Bilton, and I would like 2 Big Macs, large fries, 20-piece nuggets, 2 apple pies, and another one.
Bill, you've been through here 7 times today.
Damn it, how'd you know?
How'd I know? Let's count, Bill. 1, your mustache is fake. 2, your license plate says not Bill.
I've heard
Very
it before,
suspicious.
Marianne. I've heard that before.
And 3, you ordered the exact same thing 7 times. I recognize patterns, Bill.
Hillary's got me on a diet.
Seems like someone on the inside would talk, though.
Kale, quinoa. She makes me drink green juice. Tastes like a lawnmower had diarrhea.
Oh,
That's disgusting, Bill. Truly disgusting, but relatable.
Seems like it would take an awful lot of dead people to come up with enough meat. I don't know. They have been investigating it. Well, someone should be arrested.
Here's your 8th Big Mac. You want me to put it in a salad bag so Hillary doesn't see?
Would you
I've heard it
please?
before.
No. You're a former president.
I wonder when that all
Act like
started.
it. But tell you what, you want extra fries? Subscribe to the Baby News Network right now. Pull out your phone, hit subscribe, show me proof. Bam, extra fries, free.
I'll do anything for more fries.
So would Monica. Now be a man and go cry in the parking lot.
I'd like a quarter pounder with cheese, please, and make it snappy. I'm so hungry I could eat the north end of a southbound skunk.
Senator Kennedy,
Like
I never
the
know what
Epstein
the
list,
hell
the
you're
client
saying,
list, yeah.
but I love it. You're like if Mark Twain and Foghorn Leghorn had a baby. Mark Twain, not his real name. A lot of people don't know that real name, Samuel Langhorne Clemens. I told him, Sammy, drop the Langhorne. Nobody can pronounce it. Sounds like you're coughing up a ham. Asked me to read the first draft of Huck Finn. Painful. This kid floating on a raft for 300 pages. 300 pages, John. I said, Sammy, put them on a yacht, give them a motor, a jet ski, something, speed it up. He said, that's not the point, Donald. I said, the point is nobody's finishing this book, Sam. It's boring. River, river, more river. Oh, look, Another river. He got very upset, threw a quill at me. Missed. Bad aim. Here's your burger, John.
Much obliged, Donald. You're busier than a one-legged cat in a sandbox.
Burger shake.
This is easy. I'm a natural. Look at this technique.
Well, yeah, I know.
Like holding a tiny tennis racket. John McEnroe, great friend. Beautiful curly hair. Johnny Mac, they called him. Still do, actually. Tremendous temper. 5-second rule. Some say 3. I say 5. At Mar-a-Lago, food can stay on those floors forever. Italian marble. So clean, Dr. Ben Carson offered to do a heart transplant on it. Put some ketchup on it. Nobody knows.
I used to work in a restaurant called Lum's. You didn't pick anything up off the floor, reuse it. It didn't happen. You would have been fired like that.
That's business.
You've been gone.
You can't, Donald.
Bill's immunity. Kamala. George Washington ate floor food. Abe Lincoln, floor food. That's how they got strong. Also, you're fired again.
Those are for customers.
I am quality control, which, by the way, if the Democrat Party had quality control, they never would have let you run for president. You couldn't even answer what would you do differently than Joe Biden.
You wouldn't be tall enough for that countertop.
Just laughed for 30 seconds. The audience thought it was a glitch. People thought their TVs were broken, like the ending of The Sopranos. But no, just Kamala cackling into the void.
Right, honestly,
Donald,
I think we have all those.
It's Diet
cows
Coke,
to be eaten.
0 calories.
Yeah.
It's basically water. In fact,
I wouldn't be surprised if some of the meat's foreign, though. Comes from South America, and I don't know what they're feeding those cows. Besides all the shots they get.
Some people say it is water. Very good friends in the beverage industry, CEOs, scientists, calling me up, sir, we believe Diet Coke might actually be water. So we're looking into it.
I worked on a farmer's house there that he was selling a lot of cattle to take them to the slaughter place. Then it was bulls, not cows. Although they do take some cows, when the cows get too old to milk them anymore.
Very strongly.
That's not how.
Quitting time. Wish I could slide down the back of a dinosaur like Fred Flintstone. Great guy, Fred. Hard worker. Used to see him at the butcher. I'd say,
there's a difference between
Fred, don't tie those ribs to the roof. You'll flip your car.
Taste of a bull.
Never listened. Never wore shoes either. Tough feet. Beautiful wife, Wilma. Loyal, unlike some people. P.S. You're fired again. Give Doug my condolences. He'll understand. Good luck with this place. You'll need it.
That's it? You're just leaving?
Kamala, I came here to work. I worked. I conquered. I fired you 4 times. Mission accomplished.
But
also, I took all the Diet Coke. It's in my car. Sue me. McDonald's? Great experience. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Will I? Probably not. I've got a country to run. Yeah. But when I'm back in office, 2 executive orders. 1, McRib is permanent. No more limited time only. It's not the Loch Ness Monster. It's a sandwich. Stop hiding it. 2, arrest Grimace. What is that thing? A chemical spill? A bruise with arms? Doesn't even work there. Just loiters. Jail. And we're finally investigating the Hamburglar. Years of theft. Inside job. Stealing from his own company. RICO charges. Permanent McRib. Grimace behind bars. Hamburglar in court. That's the America we deserve.
A golden cart, huh? They're pretty good at that, I tell you. All right, what was this one? Spencer Platt music one. Better Days.
This city went through something. Dark days. Hard times. Wrong roads.
Let me catch up here.
But the people, they never stopped believing.
Sophie.
And now, better days.
I don't know where else you get meat, though, unless you have your own cows.
Schools went dark.
The Kale ranchers have gone abroad.
The city lost
A lot of them have. But there's There's one near me,
Jobs all flew.
but it's not as big as it should be. They have like 200 heads.
Town, but every storm comes to an end, and slowly the city starts to mend.
Now.
The road was long.
They also put a lot in it to preserve the meat too. After they, get it from over there.
It wore us out, but we were never really.
These are pretty well made.
From the ground comes a different sound. The people rising all around. Those were the hard days. Time answer. The city could.
You can tell this is AI, but they're getting pretty good at it.
Not wait, those were the wrong road. We had to change our fate. The people rising, taking back the town. Better days are here. The city finds its way today.
Tent slum drug city.
Better days are here. But now the streets are waking up. The family's coming back to fill the cup. The word is out, the time is now. A new direction, we know how. The broken roads will find repair. The schools will fill with kids who care. A leader rises. From
need to repave that road.
Never once will let us down. From every broken street, from every empty school.
It was fun to play sports with the other kids back in the day. I miss it.
The city rises are here. Those were the hard days. The city could not wait. Those were the wrong roads. The people found their way, rising up together strong. The city knew it all along. The city finds its way today. Better days are here. Days are here. Better days all here now.
Yeah, those are pretty well made. I have to admit, they're a catchy tune too. Official Mark Carney finally unveils the future of Canada.
Today marks a bold new chapter for sustainable Canadian infrastructure and public-private partnership.
Buddy, this thing started in 2015.
Well, yes, but under my leadership.
No, I mean literally. Back when Justin still had socks with cartoons on them.
Large nation-building projects require thoughtful regulatory frameworks.
You mean the 14 environmental reviews?
Responsible development matters.
We had to do a moose emotional impact assessment.
Wildlife protection is essential.
Then Ottawa delayed us because the excavators didn't meet gender-inclusive signage requirements.
Inclusion is important on construction sites.
Then came the Indigenous Consultation Review.
Yeah, there's lots of them.
Then the Consultation Review for the Consultation Review.
Out in Texas, they're taking away the grazing land. Both the government and Bill Gates is buying a lot of it.
Reconciliation takes time.
Then some Liberal MPs said
I do think people are eating a little bit less red meat, but that's only like 5% of the cut down.
Concrete felt too colonial.
Canada must move beyond outdated systems.
Buddy, it's a bridge.
A sustainable bridge.
Yeah? Well, private investors finally looked at the numbers and ran for their lives.
That's why government stepped in to protect Canadians.
Protect us from what? Functional infrastructure?
Public investment.
Good question about Green Frog Labs. I haven't seen anything from them. I used to see them over on X or Twitter.
Investment creates long-term prosperity.
This thing costs $60 billion, goes nowhere.
If anyone knows, let me know.
And it's one lane.
That's a good question.
Nation building requires ambition.
Funny though. Every disaster project somehow ends with consultants getting rich. And Brookfield showing up in the background like a Marvel villain.
That's an unfair characterization.
No, unfair is China building an entire city in the time it took Canada to approve a fucking off-ramp.
Carney's bad. England, Starmer, all them. Anyone that's a commie. All right, LA mobs are done with Judgment Day. June 2nd.
$3 billion, 7 years, and Los Angeles still burned. The future, always so clear to me, had become like the 405 at rush hour. So I trained, every day. Because someone had to. We were in uncharted territory now, making up history as we went along. It didn't have to be like this. No one I've ever met.
This reminds me of Terminator. Terminator?
Could see what was coming. Looking back now, I realize my dream of a city that worked was the dream of a fool.
Road's closed, ma'am.
Not without my daughter.
She would never stop. She would never leave. She would never fix it.
Behind the building,
The
huh?
unknown future rolls toward
It's all
us.
big factories now.
I face it for the first time with a sense of hope.
Now I am going to be late. Perfect.
Because if a politician can learn the value of human life, maybe Los Angeles can too.
Sorry I'm late, honey. How was school?
Big elections coming up. You gotta first win the primaries.
Come with me if you want to live.
Big primaries coming up. I hope I can do one of Corning soon.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life.
There's a United Spots one about Eric Stalwell there. Never went to jail.
Swalwell and headlines, Swalwell and headlines. It's all over, he's all over the timelines. This, I tell you, brother, he won't be running for governor. Swalwell and headlines, Swalwell and headlines. He's so horny, he will love you. Long time and space on every channel. And each day there's a new scandal. Lies, lies, lies is what he calls it. It's just collusion. Deny, 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 but the video shows the prostitution. Swalwell and headlines, Swalwell and headlines.
I'm sorry. All right, here's Chuck Schumer. Pretty gross, actually. What if they could stay in power? I bet you would dress like that. He's trying to get the Spanish vote and the pink vote and the trans vote, all them.
Gentlemen, we need to discuss this immediately.
Yes, Mr. President, the implications are serious. We must act now.
The plan is solid. We execute tomorrow. Agreed. The timing is perfect.
Did someone just shoot at the wall?
Gunshots? Oh man, that's hilarious. The funniest thing ever. I can't stop laughing. Best reaction ever. Look at that. This is too much.
That's the EFF for you.
You know, after the latest assassination attempt on me, I think I'm starting to understand why the left is so adamant about gun control. They are terrified that we will start using guns the way they use guns. But good news, we see guns as a way to protect people we love, not shoot people we have political disagreements with, right? So instead of gun control, what if you guys tried self-control? That might fix it all.
That ain't happening.
So I rescue Senator Kennedy, fly there myself, take out Khomeini, don't spill my Diet Coke once, and CNN gives the mission a C-. A C-? I shoulder checked a guard
What about the
into
alien
a wall,
that's
Pete.
supposed to land?
That alone
I don't
is
know.
a B+. It
was very impressive, sir.
Then Khomeini's generals called me a reckless cowboy. A cowboy? That's the nicest thing Iran has ever said about an American president. I'm putting it on a hat. Going to sell better than MAGA. And don't tell anyone I said that.
There's more about command.
Thanks for calling the White House. How can I help you? He's the supreme leader of Iran. I demand to speak with President Trump immediately. Who is it? It's the supreme leader of Iran. Let me talk to him. No, I want to talk to him. Nah, I want to talk to him. Tell your boss to back off now, or he will face the consequences. You can tell him yourself, dude. Good luck. Ayatollah. You old goat-bearded tyrant. What crawled up your turban and died? Back off now, Trump, or else.
Wait until July 4th.
I'm gonna...
So it's in the movie, huh?
Nothing, bitch. He's right. You ain't gonna do shit. Not a goddamn thing. Your regime's been funding terrorists and attacking our allies. Oh, no, he didn't. You've been enriching uranium like it's going out of style. Not for long. And your little debt to America chance? That ends today. Kaboom! Withdraw your forces from the Gulf.
They have no
Lift
beef?
the sanctions choking our economy and cease your Zionist
Beef?
alliances.
Teeth?
How about you go
What's
fuck
that?
yourself? Iran
Did you mean
will not
beef?
bow. Our missiles are ready, and our people united against your imperialism. Okay, you desert-dwelling despot. First, take a big step back and literally shove sand up your own ass. Now, I don't know what kind of camel-riding conquest you're scheming over there, but the Middle East, that's my sandbox now, buddy. So whatever nuclear nonsense you're plotting, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna fly Marco Rubio over there to run your whole fucking country. I'll unleash a biblical fucking apocalypse upon you. You're gonna need to beg the United Nations for an ironclad ceasefire to stop me from fucking obliterating you. I'm talking total wipeout, motherfucker. I will pulverize you. I will trump you up. Oh, yeah. You think you can mess with our ships, launch rockets at Israel, and sabotage oil tankers without payback? Kaboom! I've got the best military, the strongest economy. Your oil's worthless now with my energy dominance. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! Back off our bases. Stop your proxy wars in Yemen and Syria.
Oh,
or I'll
really?
make your Islamic revolution look like a Maxine Waters makeup tutorial. Kaboom! And forget about that nuke deal Obama handed you on a silver platter. It's shredded. Oh! You're done bullying the region. You're done, bitch. Crawl back to Tehran and think about how you're gonna explain to your people why their economy's in the toilet because of you. You infidel! This is an outrage! Outrage?
Green Labs, they weren't doing the AI stuff, so I don't know why, maybe.
I'll show you outrage. Hang up the phone
see
before Admiral
Alabama
Terrace that'll make your
getting
pistachios
somewhat
unsellable, you
oily.
lace-curtain motherfucker! Kaboom! You understand me? Hello?
Swimming.
Well,
Up
that's
the
that.
driveway?
Nobody
Oh,
messes
someone's
with
rain.
America on my watch.
Wow. In Alabama. Wow. Might be easier to catch him.
From here.
Dennis Rodman ran negotiate. Yeah.
Compound in the air.
Well, every time you negotiate them, when you think, okay, we got a pretty much a deal, they keep moving the goalpost. They keep moving the goalpost, and they won't give up the nukes. You know, they want to use the nukes. That's the only reason why. That's why they want to use the nukes. That's why.
Yes. An adult human female, it's a biological state of being that is also socially experienced. Can I please elucidate just one example of that social experience?
Yeah, I was going to answer your question, but sure, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So let's say you're a member of a tribe, and that in that tribe, you have the biological female anatomy, and in order
Yeah, it's stupid.
You've been charged with resisting assassination. How do you plead? Alive? One more outburst like that, and I'll hold you in contempt. Convict Trump! At what point did you decide to move away from the bullet? I don't know, I just moved. So you admit that you moved away from the bullet? Yeah, I move all the time. You murderer! You're a threat to our democracy, Trump. I took a bullet for democracy. No, you avoided a bullet. You obstructed an attempted assassination. And you refused to cooperate with an active shooter. You son of a bitch! You endangered the lives of innocent people when you moved your head, Trump. Their blood is on your hands. You're gonna fry for this, Trump. Your Honor, I have reason to believe that convicted felon Donald Trump used time travel technology
Day
to
4
avoid
here,
his
huh?
attempted
Okay.
assassination. Trump, using time travel is illegal. You son of a bitch! I hereby indict convict Donald Trump on time travel crimes. Hey! I'm indicting Trump. No, I'm indicting Trump. No, I'm indicting Trump. Guys, you can all indict Trump.
Yeah, same type of committees there. Where was I? Okay, let's do this one. This one's funny.
Mr. President, happy St. Patrick's Day. You know, back in Louisiana, we celebrate.
I gotta like this Kennedy guy.
Celebrate by drinking something green and regretting it by noon. So it's basically a Tuesday.
John, I love St. Patrick's Day. Nobody loves the Irish more than me. I built a golf course in Ireland. Tremendous course. The cows moved out of the way voluntarily. Very respectful cows.
You know, the Irish invented whiskey and the Democrats invented hangovers. One gave the world something useful. The other one just leaves you broke with a headache.
That's very well said and very true. Probably the truest thing anyone's ever said. I'm going to steal that. And I won't give you credit.
They say everybody's Irish on St. Patty's Day, which is a lot like Congress. Everybody pretend to be something they ain't.
Joe Biden told me he's Irish. He also told me he graduated top of his class, ran with Corn Pop, and knows where he is at all times. So I don't believe any of it.
You know what the difference is between a leprechaun and a Democrat looking for a pot of gold? The leprechaun has a plan.
Winner. That's a winner right there. Happy St. Patrick's Day from your favorite president. I look terrible in green, but I make up for it in everything else.
Oops, I was busy over on another tab. I wanted to put the Irish thing up there. Okay, hopefully that came through. I gotta love Kennedy. Gotta love Kennedy. I tell you that.
Are you in the mood for some undercooked meat? Would you like your hamburger cooked on a cold grill? Do you like wet cheese with a side of salmonella? Well, then Upchuck's Raw and Ill is the place for you. Here at Upchuck's Raw and Ill, we prepare your bacteria burgers with the finest chemicals. Take a look at our ingredients.
At Upchuck's Raw and Ill, our greatest raw burgers are prepared with fresh insects, worms, grasshoppers, and paint chips. And every undercooked diseased burger is topped off with a thick room temperature slice of cheese. At Upchuck's Raw and Ill, you'll always leave with hepatitis.
At Upchuck's Raw and Grill, you can rest assured that you'll be hugging the porcelain throne the rest of the night. Upchuck's Raw and Grill. Come for the Equalize, stay for the explosive diarrhea. And for a limited time only, the first 500 customers at Upchuck's Raw and Ill will receive a signed poster of my smoking hot Instagram model wife. Upchuck's Raw and Ill. Who's hungry?
It's too true. Here's a little bit more about Colbert there. Stephen Colbert.
Off the planet retard! Yeah! Keep filling up, planet retard! Keep filling it up!
They're good. Some of these are real short.
Throw the heater down 12. This is painful. I can't watch.
Marco, I've been down in every poll, every debate, and every election night, and I won all of them. 12 points is nothing. Relax.
You don't even watch basketball, sir.
I don't need to. I understand winning. The sport is irrelevant. The concept is the same.
Knicks aren't all
you
that
score
great,
more, you win. I invented that mentality.
He just hit a 3. We're back. Let's go.
See? The comeback. Nobody loves a comeback more than me. I've had 4 of them. Politically, financially, personally, probably a 5th one I forgot about.
They win this. I'm buying you a jersey.
No, that's okay.
Problem is with the declassification of pretty much all those people back then that were around then are dead now.
Okay, I like my jersey better, but I'll frame it. Put it next to the photo of Kim Jong-un's letter. Very diverse collection. Tremendous wall.
Going to be a lie anyways? It's hard to tell what's a lie or truth anyways, John. Pretty hard.
Sir, you just spilled Diet Coke on my jersey.
Consider it baptized. That jersey is worth more now. You're welcome, Marco.
It is really ridiculous. What was this one? Oh, okay. You're talking about Kennedy. This is the John Kennedy. That's the Senator Kennedy. That's funny.
She thinks you can land on the sun if you go at night.
Got him!
If you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. As I've said about her before, I think she's the reason there are directions on a shampoo bottle. Always be yourself, unless you suck. Goat's milk latte drinking, avocado toast eating. If you don't believe that, you probably peaked in high school. I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope the dumbest person in the world doesn't die. Life is hard, but it's harder when you're stupid. Sell crazy somewhere else. We're all stocked up here. Somebody at the White House has been smoking the devil's lettuce.
Someone
Crack harder, princess. I mean, words can't express how much I don't care.
Pretty good. I'm sorry I'm laughing over the sound of it. This is Spanish version.
I've seen you hurt from afar, watching the ashes all around, watching the tents where I used to play, watching those I love go away. I watch the stores close one at a time, I watch the schools fall apart, I watch them fail at their part, I watch them fail at their part. And I kept telling myself tomorrow, but tomorrow kept on coming, and I kept standing still, watching the city I love lose its will. But I am done watching from the side, done standing in the
country
cold.
Boy.
The love I have for this city is deeper than I have been told. It is time, stop the silence, time to reach across and bring back everything this city lost. Vuelve a mí, el amor nunca se fue. Vuelve a mí, siempre estuve aquí por ti. Detrás del dolor, detrás del silencio, el amor nunca murió. Volvamos juntos. Vuelve a mí. I remember the mornings when the city was alive. The store knew every name on every block. The weekends cruising down the boulevard.
It would be nice to see all our cities come back to where they were.
Time when I never watched the clock. That city did not disappear. It just needs someone to believe. Mi amor, te veo detrás del dolor. Todo lo que siempre fuiste vive aquí en mi corazón. No te perdiste, solo te escondiste detrás de años de abandono. Te busqué en cada esquina, en cada calle rota y te encontré todavía aquí. Vuelve a mí, el amor nunca se fue. Vuelve a mí, siempre estuve aquí por ti. Detrás del dolor, detrás del silencio, el amor nunca murió. Volvamos juntos, escuelas, las calles, los cerros, todo vamos a restaurar. Los Ángeles siempre vale la pena. Vuelve a mí, vuelve a mí. A mí, the love was never gone. El amor nunca se fue. Los Angeles.
I kind of think that's a good one, if you ask me. All right, here's Nick Francesco, whatever that guy is. Nick Furness? I don't know. PFF makes fun of him, I tell you. And others. All right, here's one foreign investors, alien foreign investors, Mark Carney.
Greetings. I come on behalf of Canada seeking interplanetary investment.
Oh, fantastic. Earth finally stopped returning your calls?
That's so wrong.
Mr. President, Carney's drone just friggin' touchdowned. And he's already yammering ESG like a freaking cult leader.
I mean, peanut butter and chocolate ice.
That corporate virtue signaling shit made me want to gouge my eyes out.
He pitched Mars funding, maple syrup, carbon credit bonds, whatever the hell that
Mary
means.
Jane?
Maple syrup bonds? Jesus, that's more ridiculous than me pardoning Lil Pump. Why?
No clue.
Sad.
Anyway, I got to
Why
run.
have I had it?
Mark's been
It's
sitting
not
in the
bad,
waiting
actually.
room lecturing
Goes
my
together
receptionist
well.
about sustainable coffee pods for 20 fucking minutes. I thought you'd be taller. You look like an angry garden gnome at a central banker cosplay convention.
Canada is a serious economic power.
Napoleon said the same thing. He died. Kind of like your middle class.
Canada is leading the global green transition.
Wow, little fucking racist, Mark. I'm literally green.
That's not what I...
Relax, on Mars we still have free speech. You'd hate it here.
That whole green scam is money laundering from us. They're trying to make us poor.
Canadians are willing to make sacrifices for the planet.
Oh,
Yeah, I noticed.
gross.
Your middle class looks like a
On
hostage
screen.
video. One more carbon tax and people are going to start eating the pets. By the way, those truckers in
Depends on which
2022
ice
were the
cream, too,
best.
especially chocolate,
I was
I
rooting
guess.
for them the whole
One of the
time.
better ones was-
Absolute
I like
legends. Most backbone Canada's seen in years.
So, Mars will not invest in Canada?
Mark, we're done here. Fuck off back to Canistan. I've got a real meeting with
Canistan.
Trump. We're dropping a...
See, they're starting to call a lot of the countries Stan because of all the Afghanistan type names, you know, because they're Islam.
100 trillion into Texas, and guess what? No land acknowledgements before the deal closes. At least Americans still build shit.
Amen on that. Amen on that. Here's another one from Platt. Mayor.
Los Angeles, abandoned. Politicians hiding in towers while the city burns. We've done a great job with California,
Absolutely. The coordination has been excellent.
but we're out of water. They forgot one thing.
Look, city on fire, palm trees black, 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 black.
Hey,
Politicians talk while the whole thing
What the hell are you doing?
We've invested in hair gel and private jets. Dream big, deliver nothing.
The brave men and women on the front lines, I want to thank them.
Should make a movie like this.
You're going to thank them? You mean the ones you defund? The ones you left high and dry? The ones you abandoned? You're a disgrace, Newsom.
Hasta la vista, flames.
You guys are a bunch of idiots. The solution is water.
My plans. Burn it down and leave the town.
Target acquired. Fire suppression activated.
I don't know if that's America. Named Stan, LOL.
Siri, call Gavin. We have some things to discuss.
Hi, Karen. What's up?
Take care of this fire and make sure it doesn't stop burning. I'm headed to Ghana.
No stress, just blessings. Ghana love is real.
She actually likes Cuba, Karen Bass.
Sirens echo while the crowd stay calling. Kevin overseas while the coach still frying. Champagne sipping while
the rest of the country way too long, yeah.
Dreams dry and the pressure stay broken. People fed up cause the words stay hollow. Storefront smashed and the glass still scattering. Dreams shut down while the rich stay smiling. Whole damn city feel one spark from losing.
I'll be back.
LA know when you vote. Just know
This is crazy. Let's dance.
Good one, Tammy. You're right.
What the heck are you clowns doing?
I truly hope God takes me before Terminator comes. Yeah, they're talking about shit like that. With AI, it's going to happen. You just want to be the one to control it.
They said LA was finished. Wrong.
Smoke clouds cover the Hollywood sign now. Oh, crack, gonna turn it around.
I'm crossing my fingers. He might win.
Turn it around.
Now the primary's coming up, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be at least second. And if he's at least second, we'll see how he does. If he's close enough to catch Karen Bass in the fall.
Turn it around.
It's heading in the right direction. Here's my favorite, one of my favorite
Canadians.
Canadians.
That people are still wondering what the end goal for these like elite parasites are, and it's called Agenda 2050. And basically in Agenda 2050, they want to corral all of us like sheep into cities. And if you notice that almost all the cities have ring roads around them, so that if you take those roads out or any access to those roads, everyone's stuck in that city. You want to know why? Because that's how you corral animals into like things. And then if you notice, it's almost like a corral where you put people into certain districts. Yeah, welcome to the Hunger Games. Now, if you're wondering how are we going to get there, well, they're going to tell you that certain things are contaminated with either, you know, chemical leaks or attacks or whichever. And then because people won't be able to like afford to keep their lands because the governments are either going to increase taxes so much, change regulations, or what they're doing in Canada with UNDRIP is basically giving it back to the Aborigine, and then they're going to take it away from the Aborigine anyway because they did in the beginning. It's pretty much like a circle, right? But you just need to use one group to take away from another group so that you can take away from everybody else. It's your classic like communist scam kind of like style, right? And so if they get people fearful enough on climate change and all of this other bullshit, most people will then kind of give up on their own. They'll be like, well, I don't really want to own a house, and I don't really want to own this, and I don't really want to use that. And that way they slowly start to corral all of us into like cities with either policy push things or made up like scenarios, and then they will have all of the land. Now here's the craziest part is if you actually look at Silicon and you look at like Silicon Valley, I mean, and you look at some of the technology that they have and all of the satellites, they have pretty much have
John, this is kind of into what you're talking about.
Everything under one roof. If you decide to run into the woods, they will be able to find you unless you're like really good at hiding, right? And so pretty much it's just going to be a giant open air prison where everything is digital and all of your moves are completely 100% recorded at all times. And so are your thoughts, and so is your heartbeat, and so is everything. And so if you remotely try and move out of the cyborg hive mind, you are going to pretty much get canceled, which is why they do cancel culture, so that it kind of gets us used to people
15-minute cities
online, never being seen again, and so that people won't question it. Everything that is happening is pretty much grooming us into that direction. I hope I made sense.
Talks fast. I like this guy. I tend to like what he.
You see, funny things begin to happen when radical Islamic regimes like the one in Iran that are being led by murderous dictators begin to be removed and toppled because you have a president that has gigantic cojones and is willing to do the work to replace the globalist system, you know, the deep state system that runs directly through Iran with the American system. What happens is that some of the people in this country that have been carrying the water and pushing the propaganda for the Iranian regime start to be exposed. And I have a feeling that Thomas Massie is going to be haunted by this photograph. And it also makes me wonder, do you think that maybe this might have something to do with why Donald Trump has been so mad at Thomas Massie lately? Do you think that maybe Trump knows that Thomas Massie is shaking hands with people who have been leading the lobbying effort in this country for nearly 20 years for the Iranian regime? So this is a photograph that was taken about 3 months ago in early December. That's Thomas Massie. That's Ro Khanna. And this is a guy by the name of Trita Parsi, who is the Executive Vice President and co-founder of Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. Don't you just love the word statecraft? If you know anything about what the CIA and those organizations do around the world, you know what statecraft is. This is Thomas Massie receiving an award from this organization. Now, for some background, the Quincy Institute is a transpartisan action tank that promotes U.S. foreign policy centered on military restraint, diplomacy, and avoiding endless wars. What does that mean? Well, basically, they help to keep murderous thugs and dictators in power much longer than they should by encouraging our
I
government
wish it was back too.
to play nice with them. But you see, the thing is, QI, or Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft, didn't start until 2019.
I can't stream to Twitch
because Trita Parsi was involved with another organization for about 16 years prior to that, an organization called the NIAC. And you can think of the NIAC, the National Iranian American Council, kind of like AIPAC for Iran. It's a lobbying organization that many people have for a long time believed was in fact the regime's lobbying group in the United States. In fact, U.S. lawmakers and conservative, neoconservative outlets, a whole bunch of people encouraged the Department of Justice back in 2020 to open a FARA investigation because of the amplification of regime propaganda. That's what those guys were doing. And would you be surprised to find out for the 16 years prior to founding QI, Trita Parsi was in fact the founder and president of the NIAC, the organization that was in fact operating as the Iranian regime's lobbying group in the United States? Oh, and don't worry, you don't have to just take my word for it, because back in 2012, Trita Parsi and the NIAC sued somebody for defamation for alleging that Trita Parsi and the NIAC was in fact operating as the Iranian regime's mouthpiece in this country. And what's funny is the judge threw it out by basically saying that the allegations that the NIAC was operating as a mouthpiece for the Iranian regime is not inconsistent with the idea that he was first and foremost an advocate for the regime. So I've been running around all day asking every one of the content creators and influencers over on X and throughout social media that seem to be driving the Iranian regime's propaganda messaging, who's been paying you? And perhaps the person that we should have been asking was Thomas Massie, because all of the bootlickers of Thomas Massie are the ones who are out doing, you know, the propagandizing on behalf of the Iranian regime. And then it just dawned on me. Maybe I should find out, when did Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna really start to put pressure on the Trump administration to release the Epstein files? Because recently the Iranian regime started talking an awful lot about having access to Epstein files that they were going to release. I wonder if the timing of that isn't just a little bit suspicious.
Don't fix.
And this is very weird because
you don't fix.
Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna couldn't have cared less about the Epstein files until they introduced
Mel Gibson
HR
did a
4405 back on July 15th,
The Passion of the Christ.
2025,
That was a very good movie, I thought.
which was
My
right
opinion.
after the United States bombed the nuclear facilities of Iran.
Transhumanism?
And now here's Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna
Wow.
receiving an
I didn't know
award from
that.
a guy who led an organization
I don't know exactly
that during
what
a
that is
defamation
exactly.
lawsuit, a judge said
Marianne.
is not inconsistent with the idea that he was first and foremost an advocate for the regime. So to all the Thomas Massie bootlickers who decided to pick up the Iranian propaganda mantle today, the question still remains. Who's paying you?
Well, he definitely got money. All of them get money from somewhere, though. You know, you have to see how much is part of it. You know, too. I wonder about
Chris,
that.
good afternoon. Declassified by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence yesterday and released publicly just moments ago is an exchange of emails initiated by Michael S. Rogers, the four-star admiral, now retired, who headed the National Security Agency in the second Obama term. Rogers wrote to his boss, then Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, in late December of 2016, to say that he, the admiral, had just returned from overseas travel and had received an update on, quote, our efforts to produce a joint product related to Russian attribution and intent for the DNC DCCC hacks. I know that this activity is on a fast
humans
track,
turned
Rogers
into
wrote,
robots.
to put together a product that can be
wow.
provided to the president. I asked my team if they'd had sufficient access to the underlying intelligence and sufficient time to review that intelligence. On both points, Rogers said, my team raised concerns. My folks aren't fully comfortable saying they've had enough time to review all of the intelligence, to be absolutely confident in their assessments, he wrote. I'm not saying that we disagree substantively, but I do want to make sure that when we are asked in the future whether we can absolutely stand behind the paper, that we don't have any reason to hesitate because of the process. If the intent is to create an integrated product, Rogers said, that is CIA, FBI, NSA jointly authored, that we can all defend, we need a process that allows us all to be comfortable. And I'm concerned we are not there yet. If NSA is intended to be a co-author of this product, Rogers
I haven't got
said
time
also,
to watch all of them.
I personally
Just
expect
give me
to
the
see
gist
even the
of it.
most sensitive evidence
The Mel
related
Gibson
to
ones.
the
Are they
conclusion.
good or bad?
If your intent is to create a CIA-only
I
or
thought he was,
CIA, FBI authored product, then
hourly,
Rogers
Christian.
concluded, I will stand down on these concerns.
Threaten the narrative.
On that email,
Got
Admiral
targeted.
Rogers
Yeah.
CC'd FBI Director James Comey, seen at screen left, and CIA Director John Brennan, seen at screen right, flanking the DNI, James Clapper, seated in the middle, for their joint congressional testimony 10 months before this email in February of 2016.
Well,
Director
like-
Clapper took
they
a
can do
little
some
over
of that
12
with,
hours to reply to
you're
Admiral
talking about-
Rogers, and when
well,
he
my
did,
wife has
he
a
addressed
knee,
Brennan and Comey as well,
replacement.
suggesting
I don't know
they
if it's
too,
metal,
during those
though. I
12
think
hours,
it's
privately expressed views
polyurethane
similar to
or
those of
something.
Rogers.
Some
Clapper
other
began,
material
Mike,
than
John,
standard
Jim,
metal.
understand your concern. It is essential that we, CIA, NSA,
Oh, you have to
FBI,
refresh it. It's
ODNI,
gotta be maybe your
on the
signal,
same page, Clapper
EM.
wrote, and we're all supportive of the report in the highest tradition of that's our story and
They're
we're
all corrupt.
sticking to it, quote unquote. This evening, Clapper continued, CIA has provided to the National Intelligence Council the complete draft generated by the ad hoc fusion cell. We will facilitate as much mutual transparency as possible as we complete the report, but time, Clapper warned, is not negotiable. We may have to compromise on our normal modalities, since we must do this on such a compressed timetable. This, Clapper concluded,
They were all working together.
is one project that has to be a team sport, Jim. This latest declassification by Director Tulsi Gabbard's office comes after she referred these matters to the Justice Department for additional investigation. And Attorney General Pam Bondi then directed the impanelment of a federal grand jury in Florida for that purpose.
Yeah, this happened like a while back, but I just got the video though.
I had no idea that this happened, but recently discovered that the American Communist Party, yes, an actual political party, in the 1960s went to the United States House of Representatives and on the floor of Congress read into the official congressional record their then goals to destroy America. And I actually want to get these perfect for you because I want to read them verbatim. I think they're fascinating.
It sounds like the
fucking start of a movie.
It is. And no one knows that this happened in our own country. Most of them are related to normalizing the USSR and acceptance of Soviet-style communism.
That was a very early and quick failure.
Well, of course. And they do that through a variety of ways, through taking over the media and taking over college campuses, fomenting student riots, all of those things to normalize.
So what is this?
Socialism. But these are the communist goals, the 45 goals from the Communist Party in 1963, read into the congressional record of the United States. When you start reading these, it actually feels like you are reading a screenplay for the current culture.
Yeah, but you're talking about millions of items, millions of items to look at. So you could pick and make something look bad. So you really need people to go through it when it's done. So it's going to take a while to digest it. That's what I'm basically saying. So first reaction, you got to wait until you see all of it, I think.
That we're living in. And that's scary to people because I think it's a wake-up call for those older than us that they failed in acting appropriately against this and safeguarding our culture. But listen to this. These are good. I mentioned that they took over college campuses.
I almost needed a triple heart bypass, but I made myself better.
And the press, listen to these. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. One American communist cell was told to eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings and to substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. Eliminate all laws governing.
They want to get rid of the family.
Obscenity by calling them censorship and a violation of.
They want to get rid of God or history.
Free speech and free press. Break down cultural standards of morality by promoting pornography and obscenity in books, magazines, motion pictures, radio, TV. Present homosexuality, degeneracy, and promiscuity as normal, natural, healthy. Infiltrate the church to replace revealed religion with social religion and discredit the Bible, emphasizing the need for intellectual maturity that doesn't need a religious crutch. I mean, it is.
That's a communist, and that's the way they've always been. And they're trying to make the United States that way.
Scary stuff. The culture we're living in today is a result of these goals. But specifically, their attack on the family is at the end. And I don't think that's a coincidence because they're looking at the family as the last line that they have to fight against in order for complete societal control. If you look through any successful society in human history, empires rise and fall with the strength of the family. It is the foundation for a moral, thriving society. But here was what the Communist Party wanted to do 60 years ago, and it begs the question whether they succeeded. Discredit the family as an institution. Encourage promiscuity and easy divorce. Emphasize the need to raise children away from the negative influences of their parents. Attribute prejudices, mental blocks, and the retarding of children to the suppressive influence of parents. That is where...
Suppressive influence of parents. Parents are supposed to be teaching people right and wrong.
We arrived here because there were sinister people at play, not just a particular political party, the American Communist Party, but those they were impacting, the school system, Hollywood, American politics at large, the larger conversation surrounding media all over Western civilization.
I get thousands of messages a day these days.
That shaped the political landscape for the last 60 years to arrive here, where it is beneath you as a young woman to give birth, because that's so degrading and disgusting. And why would you want to put your body through that? It is beneath you as a young man or a young woman, presented from both sides, to get married to someone, because marriage is a scam and a trap, and it's going to take all of your money and remove your independence from your life. And instead, we're just encouraged to operate in this concept of what I often call malignant narcissism, like the most extreme radical selfishness you ever could possibly embrace, because that's considered empowered or feminist somehow.
Yep. Why don't I go here?
All he did was ask her one question that made her rethink her entire faith.
Hamza, why do you cover your face like that?
I cover my face out of my own choice. I choose to cover it, and partly because I'm a Muslim, and being a Muslim, our Creator in the Quran does say to cover yourselves in a modest way. And I feel, I believe, covering your face is part of dressing modestly to avoid attraction when you go out.
So the danger is I might be attracted to you.
Absolutely. The reason I wear, there are so many scholars who do feel that the hands and the face do not need to be covered, but there are also scholars who say that yes, that it should be covered. And I feel it should be covered because the most attractive part of anybody is the face.
So is there a danger that males in the audience are attracted to every female in this studio's face?
I would think you got to cover your private parts.
Who's here? Are they putting themselves in some kind of...
Not necessarily every female face, but yeah, it could stir some sort of...
Passions?
Yes, absolutely.
Why would it not stir passions in a woman to see a man's face?
Good question. You can tell she never thought about that.
Well, it's about the burqa, isn't it? And about the woman wearing a veil.
Yeah.
And it's about why women are wearing a veil.
Yes, but I'm interested, if it's about equality and you feel a sense of liberation, don't you? Why should men not be required to cover their faces too?
I feel bad for her,
It's a good point, but I wouldn't question that.
You see, this is what sets Christianity apart. In Islam, they throw the burden of male's temptation upon the shoulders of women. Whereas in Christianity, Jesus tells the man that if you look at a woman and you lust, then you have committed adultery. He reaches out and transforms his heart that he no longer looks at the woman in lust, and he tells him to deal with his sin, to deal with his eyes, to deal with his lust. One is love that transforms the heart, while the other is a system that cannot change the heart, so it throws the burden upon women and it controls women. All he did was ask her.
Do everything. Hard to keep up with chat. I'll catch up with it a little bit. Can't explain it. Yeah. Well, it's not even true, anyways. All right. Here's a dude and has 2 kids. I think they were adopted or something like that. And he's like a cross-dresser or a trans, and he's being arrested for raping both kids, one boy and one girl. I think it's 9 and 7 or something like that.
Are you Michelle? I am. Okay. Also, you go...
He goes by Michelle, this dude.
By Michelle, or do you go by... Michelle. Okay, all right. Michelle, I need to let you know that you have a...
He's a trans. He's raping kids.
Warrant for your arrest. Okay. Okay. Why don't you step down here for me? We'll get you some shoes. Okay. What do I have a warrant for? Well, you have a warrant for predatory criminal sexual assault.
Wood chipper.
Is anybody in the house? My son's gonna be here. What time is it? Can you guys call my son?
Yeah, with Peter. Yeah, true. True.
Let her know that because she needs to come home and get my son.
Yep.
What's her number? I can get it for you right there.
Let me double lock these. Okay. Step forward for me. Just a second. There you go.
Yep. Ball one, we're gonna have one in custody.
I'm
just cracking my knuckles. I'm sorry. So was it really break-ins or is that a good story?
No, that's a story.
Yeah, I figured.
So, go ahead and just take a seat for me, okay?
Let me call you right
now. No, I'm getting arrested.
Take a seat.
Why?
For that shit.
Take a seat.
I'm trying.
Take a seat.
For what?
You're on speaker, okay? This is Sergeant Shively with the Bloomington Police Department.
Of course you're being arrested, you pedophile.
Hi.
So, Michelle has a warrant for criminal sexual assault. So she's going to be going to the county jail.
Why is she?
And send him to the.
There's been like nothing.
Okay,
and send him to the men's prison, not the woman's.
Just letting you know. Listen for me, okay? I'm letting you know that there was a warrant issued today. We are the middleman. I don't know anything about the case.
Okay, I'll be done in a few minutes.
You just go ahead and serve the warrants. Okay? So I'm letting you know that she's going to be going to the county jail.
Okay, where do I need to go?
Well,
you need to get Brayden. He's going to be home. Michael needs to come home now.
Where's Michael at?
He was going to Miller Park. That's who you guys ran into.
Okay. So do you have Michael's phone number?
Yeah.
Why don't you make that your first priority? Call Michael.
Later, Fixer.
Pick him up. Unless
Thanks for stopping in.
Michael's 15.
Michael's 15.
Okay. So can Michael just come back to the house and be by himself?
Yeah, he can watch them. He can watch them both.
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you just call Michael and tell Michael to come back home, and then that way you know where he's at.
You gotta get rid of these pedos. This
okay.
whole trans stuff is bullshit.
Okay. Do you have any? I mean, I know you got a lot of questions, but unfortunately, I don't have a lot of answers for you.
Call Dad. Call Brian. And
Okay, so I need to get you some shoes.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna walk in so we can get you some shoes.
Okay.
All right.
Everything's right.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up the phone. Okay, ma'am.
So where do I need to go?
Honestly,
for Michelle?
there's nowhere to go.
Do I have a bond at all?
Yeah. Well, your warrant is $1 million. So it'll be probably $1 million.
This guy's pretty sick to get $1 million bond.
10%, so that's $100,000.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You don't need to go
I know.
anywhere.
I'm not getting out, is what they're saying.
Why is she all for living with this dude dressing up like a woman, pretend to be a woman?
Not till court.
Yeah, you'll have to go to court. I know you're not. Just go ahead and take a seat in the front. Yep.
Yeah, this is a dude that was raping their own kids. They should not be allowed to adopt if they're that sick.
I'll enter her and eat just real quick while we wait for the confirmation.
Okay. Can somebody make sure that they wait here till my oldest gets here?
Make sure he ends up in the men's prison too.
Is that Michael?
Yeah. Wait till he gets here. That way.
You put him in the women's prison, you'll probably rape some of them.
Because my other son's gonna be getting here like any minute off the bus.
Have a seat there, unless you want to stand.
You said unless I want to stand?
Yeah.
All these trans have sexual problems, issues.
Michelle is ready.
Yeah, he had to find out the name he was going by. Like, if it's a dude's name, call it a dude. Here's white liberals, racist liberals. Get angry when minors leave the left.
Mario Lopez, you are a traitor to Mexicans and Spanish.
Yeah, no, he's not. First of all, you're a gringo, all right? You don't get to decide who's a traitor to our nationality and who isn't, okay? This is entre familia, all right? So stay out of it, freaking Mythbuster-looking ass motherfucker.
I think it's fake.
Second of all right, if you're shocked that some Latinos are a little bit conservative, then that's how I know you don't actually hang out with Latinos, okay? Because real Latinos are not shocked by this, okay? In fact, a lot of people in our family are just like that, if not our entire family. So the fact that you're shocked that Mario Lopez may or may not be conservative or leans a little bit more conservative lets me know that you don't actually know us, all right? So don't speak on us like you do.
Colin, you're correct.
Third of all, I know for a fact, bro, Mario Lopez's mom is proud as hell of him, okay? Because any immigrant mom that comes to this country, if their kid even reaches half of the success as Mario Lopez, that is a massive win for the entire family, all right? And I know this because my Mexican mother came to this country and my older brother went to prison, but in prison, he got his GED. And when he got out, my mom hung up his diploma over our fireplace like he had graduated from Harvard, okay? So I know Mario Lopez's mom is doing backflips based on how her son did, and that's what this country is about, okay? So the only validation you need isn't from Raza or from woke people like this. It's from God and your family, and he's got both of those on lock.
Yep. All right. This past day, there's been 21 people shot in these cities, including children, including Chicago and this. I think the second video I'm going to play is about Texas too. Here we go.
Officers say around 3 in the morning, that's when they were in the area near 25th and Washington, and that's when they did hear gunshots. Officers say they did find those 4 victims. Among those who were shot include an 18-year-old, 2 16-year-old girls, and a 14-year-old boy. They were all taken to Mount Sinai Hospital, where they are currently being treated. It's still unclear what exactly led up to the shooting. And at the scene, there was lots of debris and also trash scattered on the ground. Officers could also be seen escorting 2 people in handcuffs. It's unclear if they are facing any charges. Now, investigators say the shooter ran away from the scene. Police are asking the public to come forward with any information.
Now, this next one is about a civilian being dead after a shooting and other people are harmed in Beacon Lake. I think that's Texas, but double check me. I believe this event happened in Texas, but I'm not sure. Wait, what? That would be
Oh, they finna shoot him. They shot him. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my motherfucking God. He shot.
Does anyone know where this happened? Check chat.
Yeah.
Does anyone know where that happened? Someone posted it and they thought it was in Texas, but they weren't sure. I don't know. All right, I'm going to end with this little short one. This is about these mail-in ballots, how they're cheating with these. Watch this. This is from Kerry Lake, actually.
So here's the, I got my official mail-in ballot, right? My wife's ballot's underneath mine. Just got the mail. Here's the front of the envelope. Just like any other envelope, you got the address under here, right? Name and everything like that. Flip the envelope over, though. No trickery. There's literally a peekaboo window. A little plastic window. Look what you can see right through it.
Republican.
Why
so they can throw them out.
Does that need to be there? Why couldn't this just be closed?
That way they can throw out the Republican votes.
Why the peekaboo window? Somebody explain this to me.
I need a rifle. If anyone good cheap. I don't know. EM. John and Tammy, I'm sure they can get them down in Texas pretty easy. In Texas, it said it on the video. Oh, it did say that. I didn't catch that. Someone had said that too. Thanks, Tammy, for. How long ago did it happen? This past week or something? I don't know when it exactly happened, but someone had sent it to me. And sometimes it takes me a little while to catch up with the messages. This and that. Those are mail-in ballots. I need to be banned. I agree, Tammy. I agree. All right. Well, my game plan is to be on at 5 tomorrow. We'll see how tomorrow goes, though. If I don't make it, I'll definitely be on the following day at 5. I never try to skip more than one day if I do miss one. Okay? Game plan is 5 p.m. Eastern time. All right? God bless. Thanks for hanging out. Take care. Hopefully you like the humored ones. I'll gather them up every now and then and do them. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.